Woo, woo, guys. We're the 1 seed. The Broncos are the GD 1 seed. And it feels nice. Feels nice to win the AFC West. The AFC overall, I mean. Holy shit. I still can't even believe it's the entire AFC. They actually finished top of the AFC. Just wanted to go live again. I know we just did a 3-hour stream of the game, but I think like as Broncos fans, we deserve to celebrate a little bit. It feels like the way this season has gone, a lot of these wins, ugly wins for the Broncos, tough wins, gritty wins. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can describe how the Broncos have won through the course of this season. But when you win 11 games in a row, you're a good football team. When you win 14 fucking games, you're a good football team. When you lock up the 1 seed in a division that was very competitive down the stretch, you're a good fucking football team. And it just kind of feels like when you get lost on the internet, specifically this garbage suckhole, this site called X that just wants to suck all the joy out of everything. You can forget, if you're looking at this bullshit, that your team had an incredible football season. It wasn't always pretty. That's fine. I'm just happy to be here. I've been streaming Broncos games for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now, on and off for like 7 or 8 years. I've been covering the Broncos on YouTube for 13 years. We had the Super Bowl season. That was crazy. But even that season, the 2015 season, kind of weird, kind of wacky, kind of wild, but they won the Super Bowl. And where the Broncos were at just a couple years ago with Nathaniel Hackett, with Russell Wilson, with an ownership change, this is a team that's gone through a whole bunch of changes. And to get back into this spot is pretty incredible. And to try and combat just some of the negativity of the fucking internet, I wanted Broncos fans to just have some fun together and appreciate the fact that we won 14 games. And that doesn't mean that, coming out of the bye week, they're not going to get a tough matchup and lose. Like that can happen. That can happen. All right. But we're there. We're there. We get a week off. We get to watch the wild card round and just be like, who are we going to play? We don't have to stress about that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to watch that. The last time the Broncos have won 14 games, which is really hard to do, was 1998. Of course, John Elway's, final season when they just ran through everybody, quite literally, with Terrell Davis on his way to 2,000 yards. Got to the playoffs, got a favorable matchup in the Super Bowl against the Falcons instead of the Vikings. That would have been a tougher game. So now what we root for as Broncos fans is our favorable matchups. Please give us favorable matchups for the Broncos to push forward, to push through the playoffs, and just accept that I think if the Broncos can get to the Super Bowl, I don't think they're going to convince anyone they're not going to change anyone's opinions about them in the divisional round or the championship round, because if they play the Chargers again or the Patriots in the championship, or if they play the Bills, they play the Jags again, or the Texans, or the Ravens or Steelers, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be close, because that's just who this fucking team is. And I think it's taken a while, but I think all Broncos fans, all real Broncos fans have embraced it. We just know it's going to be closer than it needs to be, and that's exactly what happened against the Chargers. Denver didn't score a single offensive touchdown in that game, right? A bunch of field goals from Will Lutz and a pick six early in the game by Jaquan McMillan that gave them enough breathing room to just kind of grind out the game. Now, yes, they should have finished 1 or 2 of those drives when they got into the red zone with a touchdown. That's not up for debate. They needed to do that, and they're going to have to do that against whoever they play, in the postseason. But for this moment, for right now, they're the greatest team in the AFC. And nobody can take that away from us, can they? Congrats, Brandon. Can you use the curse wheel on the Packers, pretty please? Well, the Packers had the season-long curse, so it should follow them into the playoffs. The Broncos will win the Super Bowl and people will still be calling them frauds. It kind of feels like that, doesn't it? And it's just because of the way they win. And their last loss came at the hands of the Jaguars, who I think everybody now knows is a very, very good football team. And I think that's the team I don't want the Broncos to play. I don't want to play the Jags. But the good news is they shouldn't have to play the Jags in the first round, right? If the Patriots win and the Jaguars win, the Broncos will get the lowest seed of Steelers, Ravens, Texans. So as the 1 seed, we get whoever is the lowest. If we do play the Jags, it won't be till the championship game. Same with the Patriots. But outside of that, man, the Ravens a little scary. If I can play the Steelers, if the Broncos can play the Steelers in the first round of the playoffs, that's who I want. That's who I want. We did it. Yay, we did it. I know. It took Bo Nix a very long time to break 100 passing yards in this game. Felt like Jaleel McLaughlin had the hot hand as running back, but Sean Payton didn't really realize that. There were a couple missed throws in one of those red zone appearances by Bo Nix. If he could have hit Troy Franklin, I think, they get a touchdown there. I don't know if the RJ Harvey overthrow results in a touchdown, but yeah, we gotta play perfect in the playoffs. And Denver gets, a week to rest up and heal. Maybe they can get J.K. Dobbins back. Maybe they can get Brandon Jones back on defense. Got to see what the extent of the P.J. Locke injury is now. But, they played who they played. It was the Chargers with Trey Lance. Chargers defense, I think, did a pretty good job in this game. It was the first game where it looked like the Broncos offensive line struggled a lot in pass protection. I don't think that's going to carry over. Depending. If they play the Texans, that's a tough unit to defend up front. But Bowles went down with an injury. Forsyth was out for a little bit. We're already down a center. You know what I mean? So I think some of that had to do with their struggles on the offensive line. I think that should revert back to what we've watched for most of the season. But I feel good because I think the thing we've learned about this Broncos team. Oh, that was a nice sack by Nick Bonito there. Finally got him. Is that no matter the game, no matter how they're supposed to play, when they need to close it out, they have done it 14 times, with the exception of Dallas and Cincinnati, games they just won outright. So what I feel good about the Broncos is their ability to match up with these tough teams and hopefully just close it out late in the fourth quarter like we've seen them do so many times. And Steelers-Ravens is starting right now. So, we got 3 hours before we know who's winning the AFC North. But we have the Broncos clinching. They're there at 1. Then you got the 7-seed Chargers going the Pats at 2. Bills get the 6-seed, Jags at 3. Texans locked in at 5. But they'll have to travel to play either the Steelers or the Ravens in the first round there. Sean Payton might have vanillaed his game plan a little bit. I think there's a little more of the Broncos getting outplayed on the offensive side. When they were on offense, they got outplayed, I think, by the Chargers defense for too many stretches versus it just being a vanilla offense type thing. Get the number 1 pick and beat the Chiefs. Today was a good day. Draft Mendoza, baby. Yeah, Raiders, but you beat the Chiefs and you gave them a better draft position in doing so, right? They're sitting at pick number 9 now. So I think the Raiders, you guys kind of fucked up. But yeah, congrats. You get a quarterback. Bo did not play well today, but one thing I've seen from him is he's a gamer. I'm confident this team will show up and grit it out in the playoffs. Yeah. Bo's never trailing in this game. Bo Nix was never trailing, and I think that's when his best football happens, unfortunately. Was this the first game they didn't trail at any point and won all season? I used to pray for times like this. I don't know if we win by 1 or 20. A win is a win. We made it, Perna. Oh, indeed. Indeed we did. Oh, this hit by Pat Surtain. Look, this was Bo Nix's reaction to Surtain when he just lit up. Was it Vidance? He is. Woo! That was a hit. That was one of the best hits I've seen from Surtain. I tried to like some things I was going to talk about here, but yeah, 98. Last time they won 14. My friend Steve Green noting that Skip Bayless still thinks the Buffalo Bills are going to win the AFC. And the Bills have the run game to do it, but we'll see. I've got questions about the Bills. I've got questions about every team that's in the AFC in the playoffs, except for, I think, Jacksonville. Jacksonville seems like the most balanced team. Offense, defense, and special teams. If you watch Cam Little today, he can make field goals from anywhere. You can make field goals from anywhere on the field. You get a week off to rest and heal. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. 10-year anniversary. See ya in the Super Bowl. Love the Panthers. I know, you got the Panthers in the playoffs. You got the Seahawks in the playoffs. 2 potential rematches for the Broncos. I kind of don't want to see the Broncos play the Eagles in the Super Bowl if Denver can get there, because Denver's lost to all 3 of the NFC East teams in the Super Bowl, the Giants, the Commanders, and the Cowboys. And I just feel like there's too much bad mojo there if they have to play the Eagles. That's superstition, obviously, but No, I don't think Sean Payton intentionally keeps games close. I think Sean Payton wants to win games by 20 or 30 points. I think Sean Payton wants people to be talking about how clever his offensive play calling is, how good his offense is. I think he wants credit for the offense, like torching defenses. So no, I don't think he keeps it close. No, I disagree with this. I don't think this is the worst 1 seed ever. And I think I would go really hard against this right now if this just didn't feel like the type of season where anything can happen. It's anybody's week. But no, they're not the worst 1 seed ever. All right? They're a 14-win football team who earned their spot. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat. They kept it close against some teams that they should have beat. But I think it's a cop-out to say that. I really do. And I get why people want to say it. It's fun. It's fun to say. It's fun to tweet. And this was an ugly-ass win. It was maybe their ugliest win when you consider who they were playing. Trey Lance was the Chargers' leading rusher with 69 yards. They didn't play Omari and Hampton. Bo Nix was the Broncos' leading rusher as well. I think the issue there is you saw Jaleel having success, and he only got 6 touches to RJ Harvey's 15 carries in this game. I think Sean needs to decipher during a game when a guy like Jaleel's having more success. And even if he wanted to give Harvey more carries, he's got to adapt and go, you know what, Jaleel's playing too good. I'm going to keep feeding him the ball. I think those are the things with Sean Payton we've seen that drive us crazy as Broncos fans. But when we're winning, when we have 14 wins, there's really not a ton we can complain about. That would scare me. A Super Bowl rematch with the Seahawks would scare me because, like I said, the Jags being the most balanced team in the AFC, I think the Seahawks are currently the most well-rounded team in the NFC. I was starting to buy into the 49ers. But even in buying into the 49ers, I knew their defense was a bit flawed, injured, very flawed because of the injuries. But the Niners offense had just looked so good for a month straight that I thought, you know what, the Niners could be a real problem. And then the Seahawks shut them down completely on Saturday. Oh, fucking the Ravens score. Big touchdown there for Baltimore. Wide open. Devontae Walker. Here's an Evan Ingram with 3 receptions, being the leading receiver. A lot of short passes in the game for the Broncos against the Chargers. I don't think Bo Nix threw it further than 8 yards until the second half, and that was a big play, that 37-yard gain to Evan Ingram, which ended up being the longest gain by either offense in this one. So Cortland Sutton, when you see him 1 reception for 5 yards, yeah, I don't know what the fuck the game plan was against the Chargers, who didn't have Derwin James. They thought Khalil Mack might play, but I don't think he was out there at all. Did he play at all? I don't think he did. Jackson left the game. So the Chargers had a few key guys down on defense. You would have liked to have seen the Broncos offense have more success against them. This dude Marlowe Wax, he played really well. He had a nice game. But I don't know. I think the Chargers are a well-coached defense. I really do. And I think they played really well. And the Broncos do not have their best game plan. Coach calls it safe, keeps it close. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they unleash after they have their bye. Do you think maybe Bo just isn't that good, and that's why it seems like Sean Payton is play calling down? No, I think Bo Nix is very good at times. I think Bo Nix's flaws are he gets a little too aggressive in the passing game deep, and that's just where he's not accurate consistently, and that's kind of where he gets in trouble. I don't know if this game they just weren't intentionally taking shots deep, if the Chargers just weren't giving it up. But hopefully that opens up whoever they play next. But like that deep passing game is not going to be there against the Texans. We've seen the Jags be tough to pass against. Steelers you can play against. The Ravens, their defense has played better after a really, tough start to this season. The Bills you might be able to have some success against, but the Bills defense has been opportunistic this year. So really, I expect the Broncos offense to look just kind of like this through the course of the playoffs. They just have to find a way to score when they do get in the red zone, which they were very good at for most of the season. Just lately, it's been a little different. Bucks fan on the Broncos bandwagon now. Cool shit. Thanks for joining. We're happy to have you there. The Broncos play the same type of ball the Steelers did like 3 years ago. They drag teams into the mud with strong defense and weird offense, and they mess with their pace. Yeah, if they can. I think that the Broncos against the Chiefs, again, it was not the starters, but in that game, they had 3 8-minute plus drives by their offense. And I think they're fine playing those types of games. I think they're fine doing that because you do keep the opposing offense off the field. And if you force a couple 3-and-outs, that really can take over an entire half of football. But that's not what Sean Payton wants to do. He wants big plays. He wants his offense to look sexy. It just hasn't. But if Dobbins comes back, that makes their run game, I think, a lot more consistent between the 20s. So I hope he can come back and he can be healthy enough to be effective. I think that's the other question with Dobbins if he does come back. Can he be healthy? If Patriots offered Drake May for Knicks, would you accept straight up? Based off this season? Sure, why not? Drake May looks like one of the best throwers of the football in the league. I'm not going to try and pretend that Drake May's worse than Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a gamer, though. When the game is on the line, I think Bo Nix is as good as any quarterback in the league. I think Drake May has that in him as well. The Patriots are about to get really tested in the playoffs, which the Patriots and the Broncos, I think the way it shook out, have played the 2 easiest schedules through the whole season. So the Broncos and the Patriots have the same kind of questions to answer in the playoffs. Defense deserves a meatball after that one. All right, we'll give them one. We'll give them a meatball. Meatball. Chargers didn't have Thule, 13 sacks, Mac Derwin, Henley, Perryman, Tart, Molden, set pieces at every level of the defense. Scary how good they were. Yeah, I think the Chargers have very good depth on their defense. But, you know, it is what it is. We have won. We shall call ourselves champions of the AFC. And we'll see what the wild card has in store for the AFC. And hopefully the Broncos can win not just one game, but 2 games and go to the Super Bowl. I've said that. We've said that all year, though. We've said that about so many games. And then the games the Broncos played really well, they didn't get enough credit for. I think they're going to look different in 2 weeks on offense. I think they'll look a little better on offense. But I think they're just going to play close, weird, ugly games. And we got to embrace it. We got to embrace it. Anyway, fuck yeah. Broncos, 14 wins. They got the bye. They're a good, maybe very good, maybe great football team at times. Flawed, sure. But I'm just happy we don't have to play this weekend. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning on GPS. We're working on winners and losers. I don't think I'll be recapping the Broncos-Chargers game. Seems like a waste of my time. I don't think there's a lot to break down or take away from Broncos-Chargers. So winners and losers will be up tomorrow. And then we'll have a Broncos video up on Tuesday about what they really need to improve on. What it means to have the 1 seed, what they're, we'll figure it out. I've got an angle. I'm going to get there. I'll have a Broncos video up Tuesday. No recap of this game. GPS tomorrow. Winners and losers. Let's go Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Get ready for the worst whatever ever. No. All right. See you guys.